Good morning. It is Monday morning motivation once again.
I know.
Here we are. If you are new, I am Chris cooking Nashville. This is my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor.
Hey, everybody.
Between the two of us, we've lost about 230 pounds, 240 pounds actually now, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about 240 pounds between the two of us on a proper human diet.
Yep. It's like a whole big person.
Yeah, that's a bigger person than I'm supposed to even be.
That's right. Plus, we've also gotten rid of anxiety, depression, all kinds of things. We've bettered our health in so many ways, and we're still on our health journey, and we are just tooting along, and we are here with you this beautiful Monday to hopefully encourage you and share some thoughts that we have.
Yep.
And honestly, just have fun. So please remember to hit the thumbs up on this video. Leave us a comment.
Yep.
Talk to us.
If you're new, let us know you are here in the chat, or if you're watching the replay in the comments later, wherever you are, let us know you are here because we're going to go through, we're going to say hey to some folks here in a little bit. And I'm probably going to dive in really quickly before we do that because we got a lot to cover today. But we'll say hey to you guys, so just be patient with me on that. But make sure to drop in the chat that you're here so we can say hello. One quick word of important housekeeping. This is not medical advice. I am not a doctor, nor is the beautiful Ash Taylor over here.
Definitely not.
Even if we were doctors, we would not be your doctor. So please don't come online looking for medical advice. That's not a smart way to do that. This is purely our anecdotal experience and just information for your education and entertainment purposes, and hopefully to give you some things to think about so you can be a better advocate for your own health. And we talk all about low carb, keto, carnivore, and just kind of the food industry and all of this crazy stuff, and we're going to dive into that. Before we do, I wanted to point out a couple of things that I saw popping up in the chat before we started here, and then I'm going to dive right in. And I am looking for the comment.
He's looking.
And there it is. So, first of all, I want to say a special shout out to Chili Harder. Chili just became a member of the band. And if you guys don't know what the band is, that is our private community where we offer extra support, and I do some extra recipes. We do private live streams. We do a whole bunch of stuff. And it's an amazing group of supportive people. So if you are on this journey of trying to take back your health, you don't even have to be keto or carnivore. You can just come in there and just hang out with us. Now, most everyone in there is keto or carnivore, so if you're vegan or something, you might feel a little out of place, but you're welcome. Anyone is welcome, so long as we are all respectful and working together. Everyone is welcome. We're just a big, crazy family. But shout out to Chili. Thank you for joining the band. I did pin a link to the band as the top comment here in the chat, so if you are not part of the band, what are you doing? You're missing out. Come on over and join us in there because we do a bunch of cool stuff.
It's a blast. I have to say, Chili, I'm so happy that you're in the band. Really pumped about that. I have to point out, too, what I love is they also mentioned in this comment, this wonderful comment they left, your great sense of humor. See, I think we're funny.
I think we're funny.
I'm glad that someone else thinks that we're funny.
That's right.
So that's good. Don't take ourselves too seriously.
That's right. So we just wanted to say thank you to Chili for just literally just joining the band. We had a couple of people join the band this morning. Also, Heidi is here. Heidi is a part of the band and said, good morning to Ash and Chris and band members. I get to watch at home today because home with a sick family member today. Prayers, please. Of course, Heidi, we are throwing up prayers for you and the sick family member, but regardless, we are glad that as a band member you can be here and we can support you and just pray for you and be here to help you in any way that we can. And that's a good example of what band members can expect, right? You're going through something, you just want to come into a live stream, into the band, into anywhere, and you want to say, hey, I'm just having a rough day, I'm struggling with this is going on in my life, maybe I made bad food choices, I'm having cravings, whatever the thing is, and you just want some support, that's what we're here for. And we do everything we can to be a big family and support each other on this journey.
Absolutely.
So just a major shout out to the band and a couple of our band members. So like I said, we'll get into saying hey to some folks. I know we got people in the chat, but before we do that, I want to dive in and tell you guys what we're talking about, this whole battle for freedom at the dinner table thing. Because when I started talking about this with Ash as we were kind of putting together the concept of what we're talking about here, it's kind of like, what is all of this? Like, what is actually going on and what's happening? So I just want to chat with you guys. We are going to talk about reclaiming your freedom, the battle of reclaiming your freedom, specifically at the dinner table, right? Because this is a really important thing, and I don't think a lot of us think of this way, but this is something that has made a huge difference for us, and I know it's going to make a huge difference for a lot of other people if they just kind of start to think about this. So freedom is this thing that, especially here in the United States, we're all about freedom, right? Red, white, and blue, freedom, America, eagles flying, right? That's what we do. But freedom is this thing that we talk about like it's just, I don't know, it's an abstract concept. It's just out there. It's, whatever. But the real battleground of having freedom is in the last 6 inches of freedom. I call this the last 6 inches of freedom. And that is hand to mouth. This right here is the last 6 inches of freedom, okay? So we just got through July 4th. I hope everybody had a safe and happy July 4th, celebrating independence if you're an American. I hope you guys had a really good time. But the thing is, we get so focused on our freedom and our independence in this time of the year in the United States especially, but we completely miss all of these other ways where a lot of people don't have freedom. Right? And so that's what we're going to talk about here. So as of right now, the CDC says that 60% plus of Americans are metabolically unhealthy.
Wow.
More than half of our country is metabolically unhealthy and struggling with metabolic issues. That's a real problem. That's a major problem, okay? 1 in 2 adults has prediabetes or diabetes. This is crazy because, and the point that I really want to try to drive home is freedom is not just a political thing, it's a personal thing, and it's a metabolic thing too.
Yeah.
Right? Your freedom is not just about what you're allowed to go do politically by living in a country that hopefully has freedom, but it's also about your ability to go live your life and do the things you want to do and live healthy and have metabolic freedom. So the last 6 inches is what we're talking about. And what this really means is the ability that you have to control what crosses your lips. And we don't think about this as freedom. We think about this as just an action we take every day, and we don't really put that much intention into feeding ourselves. Because if we did, we wouldn't be in this metabolic mess where we are right now in the United States and many other places around the world. But we are. Anywhere from 3 to 6 times a day, the average person has a chance to vote with their fork. For energy, for clarity, for healthy life, for any of these things. But I want you to think about this way. Every time you put food in your mouth, you are voting for something for your own life. That's why I call it the last 6 inches of freedom. Because this right here is where you vote for what you want your life to be. And we get all up in arms about politics, and I know so much has been in the news lately. And so many people have been so focused on just the toxic, negative junk in the news and all of this kind of stuff. And I totally understand that, this is really on everyone's minds. I get it. And I totally understand why this is going on. But I don't want us to just get so focused on going down these political rabbit holes that we forget about the things we actually have control of every day. You want to feel like you have freedom in your life, take care of your own health first, right? Forget about all of the stuff on the news and all of the junk and all of the different things. Yeah, that's out there and that's fine. And we have to do the best we can do, but you can only have so much control of the world around you, and if you focus on that and you forget to take care of your own self and your own life and your own health, well, you don't really have anything other than what's given to you online or on TV or whatever, and quite honestly, it ruins your life. It really does, because it's toxicity, not just in your body that you're eating junk, but then you're putting toxicity in your brain too. So this 6 inches right here is the basis of what freedom you are going to have, because this at least you can have control over, and you can vote every single day for your own well-being. Now that 6 inches might seem like a small thing, but it's literally where empires fall or rise, right? Your body and your mind and your habits is where empires fall or rise. And I want you guys to think of your own life as your empire you get to control, because this last 6 inches of freedom is something you can have complete control over. Now, do you know one of the ways that nobles would keep serfs under control? Like, we're talking like back in the age of nobility, when you had kings and lords and knights and all this kind of stuff, and then you have the serfs, right? The servant peasant people. Do you know one of the ways that the kings who were abusive to these people would keep them under control? They would make them eat trash food, and they weren't allowed to have things like the meat and the fat of the land, as it were. Right? They were not allowed, for example, in was it the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, whenever, throughout this whole time period in Europe, especially like in England, you were not allowed to kill deer and eat them, because the deer were considered property of the king, and if you were caught killing and eating the deer, you were stealing from the king, and they would kill you. I mean, you go even further back and you talk about like Egypt and the building of the pyramids, and you talk about all of these different times throughout history where entire races have been enslaved. They were fed a slave diet, which was grains and cheap things, and they didn't have the muscles and the brain power to be able to fight to get themselves out of slavery, because the wealthy and the powerful would keep the good stuff for themselves, which was animal products and fat and meat, these different things, and they would feed trash food to the people that they wanted to enslave. So if you want freedom, the food is a fundamental beginning piece of what it is you need to think about, okay? Every time you eat, you're either fueling disease or you are building resistance. One of the two. Fueling the disease or building the resilience. One of the two you're doing. So let's talk about this hidden chain of ultra-processed food and why this has led to a lack of freedom and this horrible obesity epidemic and all this kind of stuff. And I want to show you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of this, but the average American consumes 60% plus of their calories from ultra-processed food. Junk in boxes, chemicals, preservatives, dyes, extra added sugars, heavy carbs, all of the junk. 60+% of what they're eating is ultra processed. That used to be 0, by the way. That is now 60+%, and it's when we wonder why we're struggling. The foods are engineered to hijack your dopamine. We've talked about that in the previous weeks as we've been talking about the dopamine centers, and I have some interesting info for you today too about that. But we've talked about how we're hijacking dopamine centers with these processed foods. We're not nourishing our bodies, we're creating addiction. That's what companies are doing this for. And it's not, I'm not even saying they have nefarious purposes. I'm not saying they're trying to harm you. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm not inside their heads. What I do know is that they understand the more addictive they make their food, the more of it you continue to buy and the more money they make. They're in business to make money. They're not in business to make you healthy. They're in business to make money. So if they make their food addictive and processed and horrible for you and all this stuff, they just keep making more and more and more money as people get sicker and sicker and more addicted. So that's what it is they're doing. Okay, so studies are showing that processed food can be as habit-forming as nicotine or cocaine. Okay, and that's according to Yale. All right, so you're not broken, you're being baited. That's the problem, okay? This is why freedom happens right here or is taken from you right here. So I want to show you something. So first of all, this is just kind of a basic timeline of how we have gotten to where we are. So you can see on the left-hand side, this is the obesity rate in the U.S., okay? This is the percentage of U.S. adults between 20 and 74 here on the bottom. And this XY graph shows us. In 1960 is where really the problems majorly started. And then around 1980, you get the high fructose corn syrup and the fast food craze. It's when that really began growing massively. By the mid to late 80s and into the 90s, headed towards 2000, you get this low-fat processed food boom, right? This is where more and more and more stuff was becoming super packaged. They started reducing the amount of fat. And then in the mid-2000s, you get this anti-fat movement. And this is where everything was like, we had already been heading this direction and they were recommending low fat. But by 2000 and beyond, this really turned into a everything is anti-fat. Fat is bad for you. Fat will kill you. All of this stuff. And it just goes on and on and on and on until you get to our current dietary guidelines around the 2020s. And look what's going on with the obesity percentage, right? The obesity rate just rises and rises and rises. So as we have taken away fat and we have demonized fat and red meat and all of these things, plus added in more and more processed foods, even the low-fat stuff, higher carbs, more processed foods, taking away the fat, taking away the red meat, look what is happening to our obesity rates. Now, this is just obesity. This is not going down the rabbit hole of all of the other stuff that this is causing, all of the metabolic health, the rise of cancer, and the rise of diabetes, and the rise of all of these other issues. This is just obesity. And obesity is just a symptom of a bigger underlying metabolic problem, right? Obesity itself is not the actual disease. Like, it's not the fat that is making you sick. The fat is one of the symptoms of something else that's underlying it. This is something Dr. Kiltz talks about all the time.
Yes.
The fat is not the disease. The fat is the symptom of an underlying problem, and if you fix the underlying problem, fat will do what fat is supposed to do, and in time it takes care of itself and whatever. So this graph tells a really distinct story of what is happening. But why is this happening? I want to show you guys something. So this is essentially what a brain scan looks like when you compare you eating sugar or you having illicit drugs. Okay, now you can see illicit drugs light up a much bigger portion of the brain, but do you see how in the center of the brain, the lit up portion of sugar is lighting up very similar to what happens when you take illicit drugs? Right? So you're hitting a lot of those same addictive reward centers that drugs hit. Now, the drugs may hit your brain a lot harder, a lot faster, but it's a very similar kind of hit that's happening when you eat sugar. So when you're eating all of these junky processed foods that have the chemicals, they have the added sugars, they're already carb-based, you're getting massive doses of this hitting your dopamine center, light up your brain very much the way you do from taking illicit drugs. Now, by comparison, this is what happens when you compare sugar to meat, right? Now, you can see the sugar is hitting a much larger portion of the brain, and this one is not as lit up. Obviously, this is probably earlier in the process as the sugar is beginning to hit the brain. But do you see how the sugar hits that same area of the brain we were just looking at? But then when you look at the meat, do you see this little tiny circle? That essentially is sitting right there around the brainstem. The meat is hitting the appropriate reward center because you're eating food. That's giving your body what you need. You're enjoying eating because you're hungry. It's supposed to hit your dopamine centers, but in the right way, in this small way. This is a very lit up version to show you, here's the lighting up when you're eating things or when you're taking drugs, that things that are not good for you, compared to the little bit of lighting up that you get from meat. This is what's supposed to happen in your brain. This is the right amount of dopamine, and this is why we've been talking about the dopamine so much over the last few weeks, because this is what we're fighting. We're trying to figure out how to get the junk out of our brain, how to get back to an appropriate functioning, appropriate level of dopamine. So here's the thing we're trying to do, and this is why keto and carnivore is what helps so many people, why this is what we do, why this is what we recommend if people want to try this kind of a thing. Keto and carnivore are like our weapons for nutritional freedom, right? Because again, this is a battle. The battle is happening at your dinner table. We are fighting for our freedom of our health, our metabolic health with this last 6 inches. Okay, these are not just diets. These are revolutions, really, right? And here we are. We just celebrated the 4th of July, right? You want to talk about a revolution? America becoming a free country was the revolution that set the tone for revolutions, right? 1776, we put our foot down and we said, nope, we're not doing this anymore. And people died, and people gave everything they had, and they sacrificed everything because they knew being able to have the freedom to make their own decisions was so important. So why would putting food in our mouth be any different? But the reality of that is you have to be able to see clearly that that is happening to you. That's why this is so important. And that's why when we're putting food in our mouth, you have to be able to clearly see the choice you're making. Because you can't make a good choice for your own freedom if you don't understand the choice you're making. So removing sugar and seed oils is cutting the chains that are keeping you bound to all of this junk. Right? Getting rid of the sugar, getting rid of the seed oils, getting rid of the processed foods. Keto, carnivore. Easy, simple, one ingredient, whole food type living. That is cutting off all of this addictive junk that is keeping you so bound. It is breaking those chains, and it's getting you out of there. Focusing on protein and fat is what rebuilds the dopamine balance, the hormone stability, and the brain clarity. And we've been talking about this. Fat and cholesterol is the building blocks that create the hormones, which dopamine and all these things in your brain, it's all hormones. So building all of that stuff the way that you need to, and not spiking and lighting up your brain and all of this kind of stuff with sugar, that's what lets everything calm down. This is why people feel the brain clarity. This is why the brain fog lifts. And they become emotionally stable. And it's not just about losing weight. It's about all of this underlying stuff that happens. Okay, studies are showing there's improved mood, insulin sensitivity, cognitive function, all of this within 7 to 14 days of starting a low-carb diet. So you're not that far away from starting to experience the relief that these things bring you if you just do it. And sometimes it's hard for us to remember this. We experience the relief, but then the addiction sort of starts speaking to us. We kind of go back off the rails. But this is why if you make that mistake and you fall off the wagon and you go back to eating junk, okay, forget about it. Go right back to what you're doing. You're not far away from getting that cleared out of your brain again. And this is a process. It's a battle. It's a journey. You have to do it one day at a time. That's why the band exists, because we're supporting everyone as they're going through this battle, right? I need support. Ash needs support. All of us. We're doing this together. But you're 7 to 14 days away from starting to experience that clarity you're looking for. And it's different for everybody, but you're not that far away. You just got to start taking back freedom right here and getting the junk out of your life and putting the good things into your mouth. Again, you're voting for your own health and your own freedom every time you do that. Okay, so you guys don't need permission to change your life, just 6 inches of courage. I think this is a very Dr. Barry-esque concept, right? He talks about how you don't need permission from your doctor to do these things to take care of your health. You can do whatever you want because it's your body and it's your life. So if you believe it, go do it, right? You don't have to have anybody else tell you it's okay. Do your research, make your decision, advocate for yourself, and take your freedom for yourself. No one's coming to save you, so do it for yourself. You don't need permission. You just need this 6 inches of courage right here. It's all you need. So this morning, you guys, I want you to think about the fact that you are the one that holds the power over your own decision making here. Eggs or donuts, ribeye steak or a drive-through, a burger patty or a pea cake. Like what are you going to do? Because that decision you make every single time is making the vote for what you want to rule your life. Just like we go and vote for politicians to hopefully run things well, and this is not a political discussion, so we're not going to get into the details of that. But just like we're supposed to be able to do that, we have the ability to vote here for what we want to happen in our own life and our own brain. Every choice is a vote for the life you want, and nobody else can chew it, and nobody else can choose it. It is you who does this. And I say this not to be critical of anyone who's struggling with this. I say this to encourage and empower you. When you go online and you say, I'm really struggling because I can't give up the blah, 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 blah. I totally relate to how you feel. I've been there. I've had those cravings. I have felt like I can't give it up too. But you know what I realized? Me saying I can't give it up is me saying I don't want to stop choosing to eat it. Doesn't mean it's going to be pleasant to stop eating it. It's going to be hard sometimes. You're going to crave things. You're going to have maybe a really hard time saying no at times. That's why you need a supportive community. You need people around you, and I understand that. But you have to realize you can pull confidence from the fact that at the end of the day, nobody else can put that food in your mouth, and nobody else can chew that and make you eat it. The last 6 inches of freedom is what you are choosing to put in your mouth and swallow. I know that's hard. I've really struggled with it. I've messed that up because knowing that it's not good for us and choosing not to have it when we're addicted to it are sometimes two really different things. But that's why we have to work at this. That's why we have to fight at this. That's why it's a battle, because it's not easy. But if you can do it and you can get to the other side of it and you start to realize what changes in your life, you start to finally feel freedom. And that's what I want you guys to be able to do. So this is what I want you guys to do today, and then we can get around to saying hey to some folks. I want you to choose freedom for yourself. I want you to look down at your hand or look at your fork or look at your life, and I want you to declare your independence from your food addiction. I want you to declare your independence from the junk that is ruining your health, and intentionally and out loud say, I don't need this, and I'm not going to be a slave to this. Affirmation like that, it's very woo-woo, I know, and I'm not into the woo-woo new agey stuff. That's not me. But this is a really important thing, because if you speak it into existence in your life, it's not like that's magic, but saying it out loud allows your brain to grab onto it and actually hold on to what you're trying to do. So I want you to declare it out loud, right? I don't care if you think it's weird or you're funny sounding or any of this kind of stuff. Wait till there's nobody around if it's embarrassing, whatever. Just nope, we're not going to take this anymore. We are going to have freedom from this. We are going to say no. And I want you to say it out loud so you can hear it and so you can start to believe it. Declare the independence from the food addiction and declare war on the sluggishness and the shame and the self-doubt and the brain fog and the metabolic unhealthiness and the obesity and whatever it is you are struggling with. Declare war on it. Have the confidence to say, I'm not going to sit back and continue to take this. I'm going to fight it. And that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be days that the battle is bloody. There are days the battle is bloody. There's days I'm not perfect at this. There's days Ash is not perfect at this, and that's all right. We are fighting this together. That's why we do this together. That's why we started the band. That's why I started this YouTube channel, because you're not alone in this. We don't have to fight this battle alone, right? No country has ever won a war by sending one dude who's real good at this out to the front lines. It is battalions of people, and they make progress and they advance, and then they have to retreat, and some battles are lost and some battles are won. But over time, we work towards fighting for what is true and what is good and what brings freedom. And I want you to take the exact same approach in your own life. Declare war on this crap, and let's fight together. I want your food to be your freedom speech. I want your food to be your vote for doing things with freedom, with independence, with confidence, with doing what is right and doing things for good reasons. So the last 6 inches of freedom is not a distance. It's a decision. And every time you pick up your fork or every time you use your hand to grab whatever that thing is you're eating, you are voting for or against your own freedom. So think about that every time you eat. And it's not that it's going to be easy, and I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not in any way unvalidating your struggles. I'm validating every struggle you have and telling you, yeah, I know that's what it's like because I've been there too, and you're not alone in that. So don't try to do it alone. Come hang out with us on our live streams. Come be a part of the band. Jump into the community wherever you can get involved online with low carb stuff. Don't do this alone. Let's fight this battle together.
Mm-hmm.
And together we are going to figure out how we take back the last 6 inches of freedom. And we vote for our own health and our own well-being every single day. And we do it together. And together we win the war and hopefully in the process liberate a lot of other people out there who are enslaved to the same junk we are trying to get away from.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we take this movement and we take it to all of these people. And we change the world one plate at a time. So the last 6 inches of freedom, right here. I want you guys to declare independence of that.
I love it.
Yeah.
If I can add something
I would love it.
Thank you, by the way, for putting all that together and sharing all that info with us. So much great info. You're talking, though, about declaring,
Mm-hmm.
right? Speaking, and you were just talking about the power of your words. And I thought I'd pull up my phone so I can quote it. But I read currently in my Bible every morning when I get up. It's my morning routine. I get coffee, I sit down, and I read my Bible, and I have prayer time. I'm in the book of Proverbs currently, and I just read this verse this morning and literally was highlighting it and going through it.
Yeah.
So Proverbs 18:21, this is the English Standard Version, says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits." This verse highlights how powerful our words can basically be, though. I mean, literally, death and life are in the power of you declaring something or not. It shows the power of your mindset, your attitude, your freedom. I also thought what was really cool is if you go down to the Message Bible, so a different translation of the same verse, it says, "Words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose." So just thought I'd add that in there because, it's
absolutely
so important, the power of your words, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. So, guys, drop in the chat. What are you going to do to declare freedom for your last 6 inches of freedom, to declare independence from all of the junk? Are there things you struggle with? Are there things you need help with? What are you doing to take back that freedom, and how are you going to vote for your own health and well-being and freedom every single day?
Yes.
So let's say hey to some folks in the chat, and we'll get around to some of your comments as we do that. If you have questions, drop it in the chat. Let's have a discussion about this, and make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to share this with someone who needs to hear this and who needs to declare freedom in their own life.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can keep up here today.
Yeah.
We got the beautiful Miss Janelle here.
Hello, Janelle, rock star moderator, and I see she's dropping in links for everybody for the studio channel, for the slushy video I just put out this morning, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's right. You did have a slushy video come out.
Yep. So, and the Prime Day deals are about to hit tomorrow, so good time to get the slushy video out today. So if you guys are interested in things like keto cream slushes or any of that kind of stuff, I show you how to do that with the new upgraded 88-ounce Innoviva S2 slushy machine.
Thing's pretty
really,
sick.
really cool. Yeah. So you guys go watch that video, but I know she put that link in there today. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
22Q
Hello,
is
Lynn.
Here. Carrie's here.
Hey, Carrie.
Let's see here. And there's Janelle dropping the slushy.
There's the slushy video.
Janelle's too cool.
Hey, Sherry.
Sherry's here with us. Let's see. Lori's
Hi,
here.
Lori.
We got, we posted about Chili joining the band. So excited. Charge and Mopar, Rick is here.
Hey, what's up, Rick?
Love Rick. He's so cool.
How's the weather in Miami?
I'm assuming very hot and very humid.
Yes.
I'm gonna assume. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Peggy is here.
Good morning, Peggy.
It says, good morning. Not yet motivated yet today. Had a pretty busy day yesterday. Hope y'all are doing fine.
Yep, I understand. It happens to us too, Peggy. Just let us know how we can support you. So.
And really quick, just some housekeeping if you don't mind.
Yeah, I see Janelle.
Janelle is just awesome.
She's on it.
She put Amanda Decker's YouTube channel in here. Tell us what's going on tomorrow
Yeah, we're
night.
going to be doing a special Backstage with Chris live cooking show tomorrow night over in Dixon with Amanda Decker from Clear Path Medical and Deckerless Carbs.
Yes.
Make sure you are subscribed to Amanda. She is amazing. Let her know that we sent you. But she has all kinds of things that she can do to help people with the practice that she has. And you're going to get to learn a lot more about what she can do, where she might be able to help you guys if you need some actual medical help related to keto and carnivore. She's actually getting licensed in multiple states to be able to do online telehealth type stuff. So if you can't find anybody locally, depending on where you live, she might be someone that you could actually go see, and she can use keto and carnivore and an understanding of a proper human diet to help you know how to do good things for your health and take back your health. So if you need some assistance, you need a general to help lead you in the charge on your freedom.
Yes.
She is one of those people who can help you do that. So make sure to tune in tomorrow night, and we're going to do a special recipe and hopefully learn a little bit more about Clear Path Medical and Amanda's journey and all of that.
I like it.
It's going to be amazing.
Awesome. Hey, will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Maybe just turn our mic down just a little bit.
Yeah, a little too loud, is it?
We may be a little too loud today. I'm not sure.
Well, let's see. Let me go do it.
Let you do it there. Yeah. Someone said our mic was a little too loud, so let's see.
Okay, let's try that, guys. Let us know if that's
Hey, you know what?
better or what's going on.
At least they could hear you, though.
Yep, that's right.
That's the thing. That's the important thing.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's get back in here. For starters,
VJS.
$20
Wow,
super sticker.
thank you so much.
That is seriously so kind.
You guys have no idea how much of a help that is for us. We appreciate that so much when you guys do stuff like that. Thank you.
We're literally not just saying that. That is like so helpful. You have no idea. So thank you.
You
so
literally
much.
paid for the ingredients for us to film a video later today.
Yeah, very true. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Rockin' Keto
Hey,
Amy is
Amy.
here in the house. This is really cool. Jesus and Carnivore. I love that name.
It's a great name.
So good morning, Chris and Ash. I just attended the Montana Steak and Butter Gang meetup. It was awesome, of course. Hope to meet you too someday.
Yeah, we would love that. Yeah, actually, Dr. Kiltz was telling me, I was texting him yesterday, and he was telling me about that Montana meetup. So, sounds like it was a good time.
Oh, it sounds like it was super, super awesome. So, and Amy says, first day of strict carnivore and already seeing results.
Oh,
Let's
that's
go.
fantastic. Good for you.
That is so awesome.
Rock on.
Grandma Patricia is here.
Hey, Grandma.
Says, hey, all, it's hot in South Carolina and the puppies are restless.
I understand that.
It's very hot here, too. Darth Carnivore
Hey,
Charlie's
Charlie.
here. Glad to see him. Sherry Gray is here. Said, good morning from Texas. Just had my bacon and eggs, ready for some motivation and maybe some chicken and dumplings soon. Thanks for all you do.
Love it,
Little
Sherry.
hint.
Listen, I'm working on the dumpling. Dumplings are a hard texture to figure out how to get in a carnivore way, but I'm trying.
He's working on, because that's what
I'm working.
How many times have I asked you for chicken and dumplings?
Constant. Yeah, you love chicken and dumplings.
Us Southern girls, we like that kind of stuff. Charger Mopar Rick says, this is the only cooking channel where I want to eat the food.
Appreciate that, Rick.
Rick is awesome, man. He's cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Marty Crumb is here.
Good morning, Brother Marty.
And look at that. VJS says, good morning, y'all. Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
They're our neighbor.
I was going to say, if you're right here, you need to come over and do a taste test in a video sometime.
Yeah, shoot us a message.
Send us a message. We'd love to have you over.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Another band member, Aaron.
What's up, Aaron?
Average keto carnivore-ish
guy.
guy.
You guys make sure to go subscribe to Aaron, too. He does shorts and is showing his journey and kind of starting out just like I did on YouTube, showing the journey thing, and he's doing great.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. Eggy Rose is here.
I love that name. Hello. That's a new one. I don't think I've seen your name before.
Well, welcome. And your dog is real cute. Look at that dog.
Yes, what a cutie.
I'd like to pet that dog.
Yeah, can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog? He's cute. Cute. Janelle says, Arg, I can't keep up. Good morning, everyone. Janelle, that's my life every day.
That's right. Hey, you know what? It's a good problem to have when there's so many people in the chat we can't keep up with, because otherwise it'd just be Ash and I sitting here talking to Janelle and all of us telling each other how great we are.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But no, it's a good thing. We just try to get to every comment. So we really do try, but it's a tough sometimes. But
there's
good
Jackie.
problem. Oh, Jackie's here. Charger Mopar Rick says, who doesn't love the attitude, can-do attitude of Chris and Ash? And
well, I appreciate that, Rick. I think there's a few people out there that are,
and not everyone likes
they're a little nuts, but hey.
Yeah, but we appreciate it, Rick. And I thought this was really sweet. You're just talking about Dr. Kiltz. VJS says, Charge Mopar, love these two. Did you see them with Dr. Kiltz? Your respect and love will grow even deeper for these two.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We just try to be real, guys. We try to be open books, and who you see here on live streams and who you see in things like the Dr. Kiltz podcast we did or any of that kind of stuff, that's who we are in real life.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're just the same people all the time.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, head on over to Dr. Kiltz's channel.
Yep.
They just dropped the podcast episode that we filmed a while back with him. And yeah, what a great time. Great story.
It was awesome.
Good times.
Yep.
Holly Springer is here.
Good morning, Holly.
Says, morning all. I'm watching while exercising, so I won't be in the chat. Thanks for the great company while I'm getting my morning exercise.
Absolutely. And rock on for your exercise.
Go, you go, girl.
And there's Selling V from Germany.
Super cool.
Good to see you.
Another band member, Angie Z. Cheryl has a question. I have a friend who I have been talking to about your keto recipes.
Yeah.
After many months, she asked me how to find them. Very excited. Also told her about Motivation Monday.
Love it, love it. So the best way to find any of my stuff, guys, you go to YouTube, you go to the search box, you type in Chris Cookin' Nashville, and it'll take you to my channel. You can go and look at any of the playlists. I have a keto recipes playlist, which pretty much includes all the carnivore recipes on there too, because carnivore is keto. I have a carnivore playlist, so if you don't want any of the stuff that includes like the veggies or the the keto kind of leaning things that I've done, there's that playlist. There's product review type stuff. You can also send them the website, chriscookingnashville.com. It's where I house all the recipe cards, and there's a link to the YouTube channel from there as well. I also have that free ebook, Keto and Carnivore for Real People. So if someone is brand new, that's a great resource. Send them that link to have them go download that ebook. And then of course you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or any of that kind of stuff, and just tell people to come watch for my posts, and I share all of my recipes when they go live there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
I
it.
also wanted to just do a little follow-up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I usually try to get caught up with comments while we talk. We're doing a bit different today. Just to make sure there's no misunderstanding, Cheryl also put, can my friend send your recipes without joining for now? I spoke to her at length about the kind of people you and Ash are, talked about Motivation Monday and what I get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe explain that a
little
little
bit. Yeah, so
then.
the only recipes that you have to join anything for would be some of the extra stuff that I do in the band. All of my other stuff, like all of my main recipe videos that come out like every Saturday and stuff, all of that is on my website for free. Mm-hmm. So you can send them the videos, send them to my website for all the recipe cards. It's all free.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And I think Janelle somewhere in here I saw put links to that because again she is
because she's a rock star. Yes,
she is seriously just like the coolest. She really
absolutely.
Is. What would we do without Janelle?
Struggle.
Hardcore struggle. Cool. Miss Terry is here.
Hey, Terry.
Emily is here.
Good morning, Emily.
We got Blue Diamond Bill.
What's up, Bill?
Evelyn is here.
Hello,
That's
Evelyn
my
the
sweet
beautiful
friend. And lots of people said that they heard Miss Mel.
Yeah, I'm sure, probably because she's down here. Now she's sleeping, but she was panting and jingling her chain around.
I literally ran her over to the puppy park and we played fetch before we jumped on this live. So she pants, gets some pets, and then naps. What a life. Doing it wrong.
What's up, Lewis?
Love to see Lewis here.
Yeah, another one of our members.
Matt, DJ Magic
What's
Man.
up, Matt?
And this is so sad but true. Dark Carnivore Charlie says, unfortunately, one doesn't have to walk very far into a grocery store to witness what a lack of metabolic freedom looks like.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. And again, I'm not even saying it's for nefarious reasons. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not here to judge. But the companies that sell stuff in grocery stores are here to make money. And they make money by making things addictive. And they fill grocery stores with addictive things that you see the packaging, you think about how that tastes, you're addicted to the junk, and you got to go buy more.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So when I walk into the grocery store, so I'll tell you guys, we walk into the Food Lion, which is where I get most of our stuff, just literally like a quarter mile away here. I walk in, and I grab my cart or basket or whatever it is, and if it's like a big shopping day, this is what I do. I turn right, I go past this place where they have like these uncured like hot dogs and that kind of stuff. They're really clean. So I just look to see if anything there is on sale as I go past, usually whatever. I walk past the deli case, the bakery stuff, like all the breads and everything are on my left. Don't even pay attention to that. Walk past the deli case. The next little section, there's like fresh mozzarella cheese and things like that, Parmesan, that kind of stuff. So occasionally I get some of that. I walk into the produce section. I get any of the produce that I need for the lovely Keto Ash Taylor over here.
Hello, friends.
And then I walk past that to where the bacon and the sausage and all that stuff is, see if there's any sales on that stuff. I go past the meat case. I get the beef and then the pork and the chicken, any of the stuff that I need there. I continue walking. I go through the dairy section at the end where there's like the milk and the eggs and the butter. Usually I don't get much from there, but if I need anything, I might get something there. And then if there's frozen veggies that I need to get for the lovely lady here or for the puppy dog food or any of that kind of stuff, I walk through the frozen section. The last thing I'll do is if I need canned things like sardines or like a no sugar ketchup for a recipe or something that's like a weird outlier condiment or something like that would come in a jar. The few things I ever get, I go through the 1 or 2 aisles that I get that from, and then I go to the cash register.
Yeah.
Sometimes I buy sparkling water, and that's it. Like all of the other aisles that have the junk and the packaged things and stuff, I don't even walk down them anymore because it's a majority of what the grocery store is. Mm-hmm. So I have a path that I take through the grocery store every single time, and I hit the sales on the stuff that we know we want every time, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Absolutely.
Because you're right, it is filled with junk.
Yeah. Mr. Jeffrey Cox is
Hello,
here.
Jeff, another band member there.
Yeah, he says, hello, awesome PhD family. We'll watch tonight while playing with new toys. Love you three.
Love it. We'll have fun playing with the new toy tonight.
Oh, it sounds awesome, actually.
We'll see you on the replay.
Brian is here with us.
Hey, Brian.
Says personal responsibility and accountability.
Yep. That's why I started a YouTube channel, because I needed that, and look what it turned into.
Yeah, now we're all here, and that's
right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Charlie also said, what's ironic is that people building pyramids ate close to a food pyramid style diet.
That's right.
Wild.
That's right. Isn't that amazing?
And this, I could say, cracked me up or quacked me up.
Yeah.
But Recharge Mopar Rick says, don't be a quack, put the food back.
Yeah.
He kills me. I love that. Jesus in Carnivore says, there's a spiritual war going on for the hearts, minds, souls, and spirits of all of us.
Yeah.
Food is a way to enslave and weaken the minds and bodies of all. Christians or not, all are affected.
I agree.
I cannot agree with that more. That is so
totally
true.
agree.
So
regardless
true.
of what your beliefs are. I mean, we are very open about our faith, but you don't have to agree with us to be welcome here. We love all of you the same. But for us, we do have that faith element of why we think that stuff happens. But regardless of your background, your faith, your beliefs about things, it's very clear that putting the wrong food in weakens your mind and your soul, whatever you believe the purpose of that to be, and makes you easier to control. It makes you easier to manipulate, and takes away, it steals a lot of things from your life. So
it really, really, really does,
yep.
doesn't it? Let's see here. Peggy says, wow, an interesting analogy from many years past, still relevant today.
Yep,
absolutely. Terry says, I wish more people knew about the history of food in our modern society.
Yeah.
I think folks can understand the problem more if they knew the origins.
I agree. That's why we do this. We try to get the word out. We try to help people understand this, because the history of how we got here is very revealing.
Yeah.
Very revealing.
Yeah. Awesome. And Jackie says, sound is great now. Good to know. It's like we're yelling at everybody today.
That's right. That's right.
Juju B is here.
Hello, Juju.
Always so good to see it. This is awesome. Brian says, this journey is wonderful. The people we meet on the way influenced your path. Keep the good and let go of the bad.
Yep. That's the best you can do. And you know what? Keep the good and let go of the bad with your food, too. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Absolutely. Deanne Harmon is here. Says, good morning. Diabetic and carbs are my enemy. Your recipes have helped me greatly.
Oh, well, Deanne, I'm very glad. So, you guys, Deanne actually knows me from way back in the day. Deanne knows me from when I was a kid.
Yes.
Deanne has known me probably since I was born. So, good to see you, Deanne, and I'm glad that those recipes are helping.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's go back over here. Brian also says, following the money, if they get you at the beginning, will have you at the end.
Yep.
Very true.
That's right. That's
Very
right.
true. Celine V says, I pretty much all of Europe, the nobility would control what people could hunt and fish and how much of the animals you raised you could keep.
That's right. That's right.
What?
It just keeps people under control.
It really does. It really does. Charlie says, this is your brain on sugar.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Charge Mopar says, oh wow, I didn't realize there are 2 Chris Cooking Nashville channels.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, so we have the main channel, which is where I do all my food stuff, and then I have a second one called Chris Cooking Nashville Studios. It's still growing, and we're still trying to get it, rolling and everything, but if you don't mind, subscribe and just go over there and just just put on a playlist and just let it run if you don't mind. Just, turn the volume down and let it run. We're trying to grow that channel, but eventually I want to put all the health related stuff and like these motivational live streams there, so that the food is all on the main channel and the health related information is all on that channel. But it's not big enough that enough people even know it's there yet, so I still do this on both channels. But if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to that other one, that would be amazing, and that is linked in the description box, and I know Janelle has put the link in the chat as well.
Yes, because Janelle, yet again, is awesome.
Yep, she's awesome.
Sherry says, who else sees a sad face in the sugar brain
Yep.
scan? I did. I saw that, yeah.
That's right.
VJS says, Chris Nash, love the visuals.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it helps a lot, I think, just for us to be able to see it right in front of us,
Yeah.
It's very hard to deny.
Definitely. Tammy says, going to the mark of the wall.
Love it.
So I'm listening. Hello, band, and of course our host and hostess. Have a blessed day.
Yes, you too, Tammy,
Yes.
another Rockstar Band member.
Tammy is awesome, man. She's really a hoot. Rockin' Keto Amy says, question, for the carnivores out there, do you do mustard at all on Carnivore?
Great question. I do mustard on Carnivore because it is 0 carb and does not seem to bother me in any way. I know some people find it to be bothersome, though. So you guys drop in the chat if you're carnivore. Do you actually use things like mustard still, even though it's a plant product? So, of course, Ash definitely uses mustard because she's way more keto and enjoys her mustard a lot.
I do, and I've always enjoyed it. Oddly enough, it's interesting. We were having this discussion. I was talking with my mom the other day. When I was a kid, I used to despise mayonnaise, and I always used to tell my mom it made me feel bad as a kid. And so I always was a huge mustard person, just mustard on a hot dog, mustard here, mustard there.
Yep.
And I was like, man, I just should have listened to my body when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I probably didn't like the seed oils and stuff in that mayonnaise. I was like, it doesn't make me feel good.
That's right.
Yeah. And Brian says, so true, ownership of that 6 inches is our responsibility. Is that extra bite worth your life?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good question to ask yourself every time.
Yeah. And Amy says, I choose freedom starting yesterday.
Good for you, Amy.
That's freaking awesome. Peggy says, we love the movie Secondhand Lion and the scene where Walter's mother's boyfriend is trying to make him tell him where his uncle's money is hid. And Walter pauses, then says, defend yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Yep, exactly.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie. Brian says, knowledge is freedom. The tools in your quiver and your tribe is the only way.
That's right.
Yep. And Lynn says she'll definitely be using your 6 inches of freedom analogy because I don't want Chris coming after me.
Lynn, I wouldn't come after you. I'd be afraid you'd beat me up.
That's right. Yeah, my money's on Lynn.
That's right.
Yep. Evelyn is here and was sharing some of her journey in the chat, and I love that. So great. Says, if it's easier to break free from physical bondage than it is to break free from my mental bondage, I'm still working on it. My biggest battle is processing stress, knowing I can't change others. Ugh.
I totally agree. And that's the thing, guys. You have to realize you live inside your own head and it'll never be different. And if you can't handle the stuff that's in here, nothing else is something you can handle. And it's the hardest battles you will ever fight all happen in your own head. And it's hard. It is hard. That's why we try to help you guys and just support you and just be here for you.
Yeah. Really, it's so true. Let's see here. Kara Judd is here.
Good morning, Kara.
Love my friend Kara. Dennis is here. He says, bye, I'll be watching the rest later. About to go in the community center and use their gym. Have a great
good for
day,
you,
all.
Dennis.
Oh, man, Dennis is killing it. He's
Love
doing
it.
great. He's
I
trying
love it.
so many things.
I
love that.
that so much.
And Dee says, hey, howdy, hey. How's the CCN family doing today?
Hey, Ann.
How are we doing? We're doing good. We
We're
get to hang out with
doing
all you
great.
beautiful peoples.
That's right.
Nancy's here.
Hey, Nancy.
Says, thank you all for your videos. Hello from Virginia.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Amy says, I need to go watch the Kilts video.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it was fun. We bared our souls a little bit in that one.
Yeah. Someone needs to.
Yeah.
Someone needs to. I like that.
Hey, Thomas.
He's here. He says, hi, Chris and Ash.
Good to see you, my
Good
friend.
to see you, my friend. Also, Thomas, I'm so sorry. I'm so behind on comments. He mentioned something about you and I doing an interview. Thomas, will you go to chriscookingnashville.com and send us an email, my friend, if you don't mind. And I, myself or Chris will get back to you and see if we can set something up. But if you don't mind doing that for us, just so we don't forget, that would be awesome.
Just drops it in the right place so we remember to do it.
My brain is a lot better than it used to be, but I'm old and I still need reminders. So just do me a favor. But yeah, shoot us a message, man. We'd love that. VJ says, if you learn how to create dumplings, I'm seriously missing Chinese shrimp dumplings. Making shrimp cakes today to get part way there.
Yep. They're always working on things like dumplings and different kinds of noodles and like they're very difficult textures to get right. So I will continue the battle. I will be working on it, I promise.
Yeah, you do a good job though. It's like you got to get it right. Let's see here. Evelyn says, I printed out your 90-second bread and taped the recipe inside my cabinet by my microwave.
I love that.
That's so sweet.
I love that.
I love that. Sherry says, Chris's recipe cards are great. Many of them even have a way to cut down from full to half to a quarter if you want to make a smaller portion.
Yeah, I try to make them as flexible as I can. You know, some recipes, when you start changing ratios, it messes with things, but some of them, they're very easy to, do a half recipe, do a quarter recipe, whatever you want.
Absolutely. And lots of people are saying, by the way, that they also just love mustard.
Yeah.
I think mustard is one of those that just... some people don't do well with it, but most people here are saying that they really, really, really enjoy it.
Even Dr. Barry talks about, as carnivore as he is, he uses mustard from time to time. He loves it.
Yeah.
So
it's if it works for you, it's pretty good. Let's see here. Brian says, I have a friend who is a food scientist, and she only eats organic food and nothing else. This speaks volumes. Preach it, for sure. And this is so sad. Lacey says, hi all, having a rough one. Had to say goodbye to my Charlie dog Saturday. Today is my first day alone without him.
I'm sorry, Lacey. I'm so sorry. I know that's so hard. That's losing a member of the family, and I know that's tough.
Oh, it's so, they really are family, so we totally understand, and I'm so sorry. I wish there was something we could do, but we'll definitely be holding you up in prayers and sending you all the love.
And thank you for coming here and sharing it with us and just letting us all kind of encourage you and support you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That's so rough.
Yeah.
So rough. Come back over here. Margaret is so sweet. She says, love you guys. Thank you such an inspiration.
Oh, Margaret, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Francis has a great question. I'm looking for a chili lime sauce that is junk free. I would be marinating and using it for dipping. Have you found a sugar sub that isn't off tasting for those sorts of sauces?
Yep, it's a great question. And the sub that I use for almost all things that require sugar is allulose.
Yeah.
It is the one that tastes and acts the most like sugar. And it's not quite as sweet as sugar, so if you want it really sweet, you'd have to use extra. But I don't get any negative effects from it. I know that some people around the world cannot get allulose, but if you can get allulose, that is the best one.
Yeah, you've really used a lot of stuff with allulose recently, and I really have been enjoying it.
It works really, really well. Now, if you absolutely can't get allulose, you can also try to get erythritol and monk fruit. Those two, and a lot of times you'll find a blend where it's erythritol and monk fruit together. That works pretty well. But I think allulose is the best if you can get it.
Yeah. Really cool. Great question. And look at Carrie. Carrie's really cool. I love Carrie. She cracks me up. Jay Enos is here. Says, in 2006, I was pre-diabetic and started keto. No longer pre-diabetic. I'm considering carnivore due to weight issues and other health issues.
Yeah, that's fantastic. First of all, rock on and congrats. And if you go carnivore and you want to do some more of that stuff, let us know. I got a whole bunch of recipes to help that transition maybe be a little smoother and have some fun with it along the way when you decide you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. GGB says, today is day 1 of our summer shred challenge. I'm pumped for our new training to start. P.S. I won the grand prize spring challenge. Trying hard to kick these last 15 pounds.
That's great, Juju. You're doing so great.
That's
Keep
amazing. Really,
Keep
really
at
cool.
it.
That's awesome, man. It can be hard too, I think, when you kind of get down to like the last couple and you're just like, I can do it, but that's really great. Margaret shared this, says, make my own ketchup with 6 ounces canned tomato paste and 8 ounce canned tomato sauce, and 3 ounce apple cider vinegar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix well and can stand regular ketchup anymore. Watched your video with Dr. Kilt's Heart Faith.
I love that, Margaret. That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, making your own ketchup without any without any sugar added to it and all that kind of stuff is a great way to do that. A lot of times I just end up buying the no sugar stuff because it's just easier for all of the other things I'm making. But ideally, it's probably best to make your own.
It really is. Yeah, when you're in a pinch. But yeah, also it's amazing to me how expensive the store-bought ketchup though is.
Oh yeah,
it's really expensive. I was like, whoa,
absolutely.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I grew up poor. I remember buying Heinz ketchup when I was a kid. You know, like at the Dollar Tree. I'm like, whoa, what happened? Let's see here. Carrie Jess says, so sorry for your loss, Lacey. Dogs are family indeed. Keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. Yeah, lots of people are showing love for Lacey. Breaks my heart. And Lacey says, thank you, Chris and Ash. I knew this would be a good place to be vulnerable. Thank you for your prayers, my brother and sister.
Yeah.
You all are amazing. Love you all.
Well, you're welcome, Lacey.
You.
We always want you guys to feel like you can come here and share what's on your heart, share what you're struggling with, and just feel like this is going to be a safe, welcoming, and supportive place.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is why if someone comes in the chat and they start getting snotty about stuff, we block those people.
Yeah,
because
ain't no one got time for that.
No,
ain't no one
you
got time for that.
You guys should all feel like you're with family here.
Yeah. No, we honestly feel honored that you would come in and share that. So guys, I'll tell you what too. I love people. I really do. I really do. I love dogs more. I'm just gonna shoot straight. Yeah. Dogs are awesome. They're just not. They don't judge you. They just love you where you're at. They're fun. They're dumb. I know because I got one dead asleep on Chris's foot right now.
Yeah.
Literally like on top of his foot. Is your foot numb?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It probably will be by the time we're done here.
It's like 70 pounds of golden retriever just boom right on your foot for an hour and a half. I love it. Hardway Alaska is here.
Hello.
Says, hey, do you have recipes for animal organs? Healthy.
Healthy but not the best tasting.
Healthy but not the best tasting. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a carnivore dirty rice that I did that uses some liver. I snuck it in and she didn't even know.
Got me.
I'm actually working on a video today that will be coming out on Saturday. That's going to have a little bit of something for you guys. So stick around for that on Saturday. And then in the cookbook that we're working on, that I'm going to be working on, that's going to have a section that has some organ stuff. And there might be some more coming as well. But organ meats are tough if you don't like the flavor. I love organ meat. So I love liver. I really enjoy... gizzards aren't my favorite. It's just a texture thing for me. But I really love like chicken heart. So there's different things organ-wise that I really enjoy. So I will work on some more stuff, but it can be tough if you're like I really don't enjoy organ meats kind of thing flavor-wise. It can be tough to get them in. So we're gonna be working on some stuff.
Also, if I may share, because
go for it.
Thank you so much.
This is your area, yeah.
This is my. Well, I don't. I think like most folks, I will not eat liver. I don't mean to sound picky. I'm just being real. I don't really care to eat liver and other organs. It's just not my thing. The taste, the smell, it's really off-putting to me in a big way. So. I recently, though, probably within the past, I guess it's about going on 2 months now.
Yeah.
I actually started taking ancestral supplements, liver and organ capsules. So I particularly, they make different versions. I'm actually taking the FEM, which is like for females. And I have loved that experience, may I say. So if you're looking for ways to get in not just liver, but also other organs, go check out the different kinds of blends that they have. They have just liver. They have a couple different mixtures. They have ones that are meant for men. Like I said, the one I take is just for women, basically in like hormone regulation. But I've been on it and I have noticed so much more energy, so much mental clarity. I've lost about 5.5 pounds. And I feel like just a different person.
Right. And
so it's a great way though, if you're like, man, I do not want to eat these liver and organs. Gross. I get it. But if you think about going back to, this is very Dr. Berry-ish, but it's true. Our ancestors, they would have eaten the whole part of the cow. They would nose to tail, right? They wouldn't have let things like the organs and uterus and all that stuff go to waste. They would have eaten it. And today that just really grosses me out, but there's truth there, right? So just something I thought I'd mention, but ancestral supplements, check them out. I know Dr. and Barry and Nisha have recommended them. That's kind of where I heard about them from. And I
Yep.
was like, is this really going to make a big deal?
Yep.
And then I tried it and I was like, oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, that made a very, very big difference. So just thought I'd mention that in case it's helpful. I love this Arizona cowgirl. Hi, you
Hello.
two. Well, hello, sweet friend. Jackie says, shopping for 4 kids, standard American diet birthday party. Grabbed a watermelon and veggie tray. Hub says, can't believe we're going to poison them with all these plants. Also serves brisket, chicken, meat sticks, and carnivore chips.
Love it.
Hey, there you go.
Love it.
And Lacey says, I don't think I'll ever feed kibble again to any future dogs. I don't think it's good.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Lacey. And we actually, if you didn't know, we make all of Mel's food from scratch. Now, there are still some grains in it because golden retrievers have sensitive stomachs. And if we remove those grains too fast because of the junk she used to eat, she gets really sick. So we're slowly trying to wean her down off of that and get her basically just meat. And she gets a few veggies. And we make all of her food from scratch. And we actually have a video on here on the channel of how Ash actually is the one that does it most of the time, but how we make Mel's food.
If you go watch Mel's dog food recipe, which the wonderful, beautiful Miss Janelle, I think just posted that I saw somewhere. But yeah, it changed Mel's life, so I agree. Now Mel was on kibble though for the first 3 years of her life and literally started to have a lot of health problems. And so when we switched over to making her food, which is livers, gizzards, chicken, like there's a whole recipe video. When we did that, it literally changed her life. I mean, like she became calmer, she had more energy, she literally became like a puppy again. The vet that we took her to, literally, like she came back 6 months after us changing her diet, cooking her food.
Probably
6 months later, she came back. She was ideal body weight, like totally perfect. And the vet literally called me after she ran her blood work and everything at this checkup and was like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? So I said, I'm like, well, we feed our dog whole food, like chicken and livers. And I told her what was in it. And the vet literally was like, oh, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, but you just said it was the best blood work you've ever seen in 25 years of being a vet. So anywho, but I think pets are family and they deserve the best. So
agreed.
Good resource if you all need a dog food recipe. And it's also, there it is, the one and only time you'll ever also see me in the kitchen. The one and only time. That's it. Other than that, it is Chris. All Chris. And you were talking about people not getting snotty.
Yes.
Carrie says, ouch, don't kick me out. Accidentally got snotty.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Carrie, we know that you're...
I believe that says achoo.
Oh, achoo. I'm so sorry. Achoo. Did I not say achoo?
You said ouch.
Oh, that's like the same thing. Never hurt when you sneeze? I can't read. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. We know, though, that Carrie is a little feisty. That's why her and I get along. We're sassy.
Yes.
Bunch of sassy ladies. Brian has a great question.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an exercise routine? Sauna, cold plunges, any suggestions?
Yeah. So this is a good question. We walk the dog to the park every day. And I have some exercise bands that I'm going to start using. It's kind of one of our goals to me getting a little bit more activity in my day. Ash has an exercise bike she rides just to get some more physical movement in. We're broke musician rednecks. We don't have things like saunas and cold plunge tubs. Not saying they're not good. We don't have anything like that. So but if you think that would help you and you've done the research to say, this is something I'd like to include, I'm all for it. So
it just depends. I think for us too, like one of the goals that Chris and I have currently right now is because we live in a city and we do live on the outskirts, but we live by the lake. So for us, it's like walking the dog is a big thing. We're actually able to like walk around and it's real peaceful and quiet. It's very calming. I was also going to say, yes, you have bands. I have an exercise bike that I try to hop on about 3 times a week just to kind of get my body moving. One of the best things though, I actually think I ever do for just my health in general, and it just makes me feel good, believe it or not, is cleaning your house. I think that's probably one of the most underrated exercise hacks. We have our townhome, which is 2 stories and a little under 2,000 feet and multiple bedrooms, and usually on Tuesdays I will literally start in the kitchen and I go through the entire house, including my front yard and my backyard.
Yeah.
I pull weeds, I sweep, I mop, I dust, and it's like I move so much. I mean, I'm dripping in sweat by the end of it, but it's like it's a great way to move. And then I think there's also something about mentally, I mean, definitely an endorphin rush for me, about having your home and your workspace like clean and neat and organized.
Yeah.
And to me, it just kind of really sets me up to have a great week. And I think I probably get more out of just cleaning my house, not just mentally, but physically, you know, all those different ways than I probably even do from my exercise bike.
Yeah.
So it just makes you feel good. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Arizona Cowgirl has a great question.
Yeah.
Have you thought of any microwavable recipes yet?
Yeah, my 90-second bread is done in the microwave. The pizza crust, the deep dish pizza, that is done mostly in the microwave. There's not a lot that I've done in a microwave because the thing about a microwave is it cooks in a very specific, unique sort of way. And it doesn't necessarily do a very good job for most things. The things that it does work for like those breads that I did, is because I'm actually utilizing the fact that it vaporizes water molecules so quickly, which causes a puff. If you put protein in a microwave, like eggs, steak, chicken, any of that kind of stuff, it makes things real rubbery. It's just what it does. So reheating food is about the majority of what I use a microwave for, unless it's specific things, but I do have a couple of them there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you do have a couple.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's funny, too. This, I feel like, is kind of a hot subject in the keto carnivore. A lot of people get mad when you do microwave recipes, the couple you've done.
Yep.
But then most people really, really like them. And but that's the thing. They can be so convenient sometimes and just help people. So
yeah. Anytime I release anything where I use a microwave, I get all the people that flood the comment section of how I'm killing the nutrients in the food and I'm causing cancer in my brain because of the radiation of a microwave. And and the thing is, there's no research that supports what those people say. Like, I'm not saying a microwave is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I want to see the research to tell me why it would be good or why it would be bad.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen good, clear research on anything related to that. So I'm always open to it. But it's a weird polarizing thing to use a microwave.
Yeah. One thing, though, I think is really cool that I know you're working on and doing, because we really try to make everybody happy. And, you know, people are different. People have different lives. Again, it's N=1 or whatever. I know you're trying to work on your 90-second bread to figure out how you would do it actually in an oven. Or,
also the bagels. The carnivore bagels. I forgot. Those are also a microwave thing. So, and all of the microwave stuff, I'm trying to figure out how I would do it in an oven as well.
Yeah, so there's just different options for different people.
Yeah.
So this is hilarious. I was just talking about cleaning the house is a great way to exercise.
Yeah.
And Brian says, thank you guys for sharing. And Emily, my wife, said, no. Oh, girl, I feel you.
I understand.
I feel you. Oh, that cracked me up. Yeah, no way. And don't do laundry either. Don't do that. Yeah,
that's right.
22 Cat Lynn says, yes, I love making all my own condiments. The ketchup, mayonnaise, etc. They taste better, are great ingredients, and they cost less.
Yep.
Y'all need to make Chris's butter mayo.
Yes, that's a fun recipe. Appreciate that, Lynn.
Oh, Lynn's awesome. Yeah, your butter mayo, though, is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And Kevin says, would love to see you do a carnivore fried gizzard recipe.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I have a couple of versions of like chicken nuggets or chicken tenders that I've done that are carnivore. If you use that breading and you just put it on a gizzard instead of the chicken tenders or the nuggets or anything that I'm making, it would also work. So you could totally do that if that's something you would like to give a shot. But maybe I'll do a video of that at some point. But in the meantime, feel free to go find those chicken tenders on the channel, and you can absolutely use that breading mixture and do the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be great.
I was going to say, I think it's awesome if you want to do a recipe for fried gizzards.
Yeah, I just need different taste
texture. I was going to say, I'm out.
Yeah.
Kevin, you come on over.
Yeah. Now, see, I could do livers and gizzards, have somebody else eat the gizzards, because I like, again, flavor-wise, I like them. I've just never been a fan of the texture of gizzards. But livers, chicken livers, man, I love fried chicken livers. I grew up eating those when my grandma would make fried chicken, so I'm all about the fried chicken livers.
For sure. This cracks me up. Talking about saunas and all. VJS says, y'all could use Dr. Barry's redneck sauna. Sit in your truck with the windows shows up on a real hot day.
Yeah, that's right.
No joke,
That's
man.
right. Yep.
The redneck sauna. I love
That's right.
it. Angie says, I make my dogs homemade dog food as well. They are now thriving. No hip issues, no skin issues. I have a purebred beagle and a pit mix.
That's great.
That's good. I like that. Janelle says, ancestral supplements, also on Amazon.
Yep.
I have mine on a subscription reorder.
Love
I
it.
do too, Janelle. It makes it so easy so you don't run out and you don't
Yep.
forget it.
And if you guys are one of those people who you just can't do the smell,
Yeah, that's the thing.
they really don't have very much smell, but they do have a little. And if you really just can't do the smell and you're like, no, I just can't do it, put them in the freezer.
Yes.
Keep them in the freezer in a Ziploc bag, and when they're cold like that, you cannot smell them.
Yeah.
And just take them that way.
Yeah, that's actually great. And this is funny. Carrie says, vets are just ignorant as regular docs, all chicks and dudes.
Yep.
Preach
Agreed.
it, preach it. And talking about your 90-second bread, so Janelle says, I tried the 90-second bread in the oven. It imploded and went flat.
Yep, and it will.
Yeah, and then Jay actually says, hey, Chris, any chance you'll be revisiting the 90-second bread cooked in the oven or air fryer?
Yeah.
Just asking because currently we aren't in a position to replace it.
Yeah, so I would love to be able to do it. First of all, it's not going to take 90 seconds. It's going to take a lot longer just because it just does. The other issue, and this is why I haven't done it before now, and this is why it doesn't work. The reason that bread is because you have a protein structure, specifically gluten, which surrounds all of the air pockets. And that's that fluffy, puffy texture that you get from bread. That is created by trapping all of these miniature bubbles of carbon dioxide, which is the byproduct of yeast interacting with the carbohydrates of the flour, right? So the yeast are creating this CO2 that's trapped in the network of the gluten. It causes the puff, and then when you bake it, it expands those bubbles bigger, which makes everything stretch and rise, and then it sets and it dries, and then as it cools, it keeps that shape, and it has all of those air pockets in it. So when you make the 90-second bread, you have egg, and you have the various protein compounds and the things that are in there, and it's a balance of the water to the dry ratios of that protein structure. You cook it in a microwave, and it vaporizes those molecules of water internally, which is why it puffs, because it's steaming. But it also cooks that steam out fast enough that even though it sinks, it only sinks to a certain point because of the right protein ratios. It stays there, and it leaves those air pockets behind where that steam has escaped from. When you put it in an oven, or when you put it in an air fryer, you create a dry skin on the outside before it ever starts to get hot on the inside. You're not going to get much puff of any kind, if any, because it doesn't steam nearly as fast as it does in a microwave, because radiant heat working its way through slowly does not steam that stuff nearly as fast. It's going to turn really hard and dry on the outside by the time it cooks all the way through usually, and whatever puff you do get, it's not going to be able to dry and set those proteins hard enough and fast enough to where when you turn off the oven, it doesn't then go, which is exactly what it does. So to get that to work in an oven or an air fryer is going to require completely different ratios, maybe a different list of ingredients, I'm not sure. You'd probably almost have to have something like baking powder, which would then react with heat to create its own CO2, which then you're starting to add other stuff in there. And basically what I'm saying is I have to create a whole new recipe because the 90-second bread is utilizing a microwave, and the way microwaves work, it's why it works. And so if you put it in an oven or an air fryer, you're going to create an egg-flavored hockey puck. It's just what you create. So...
Yeah.
This is why, when people ask those kinds of questions, it's not that I don't want to do it, but there's a whole thing of science and physics and chemistry that goes behind why things work that way, and it's not as easy as just, we'll take the same recipe and try 2 or 3 things until it works in an oven. It just doesn't work that way. So I'd love for it to, and if I can think of a way that I can utilize radiant heat in the way that the physics and chemistry are going to work to make that happen, I'm all for it. But it's a whole mental calculation process that can take days, weeks, months, years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will see what I can do. But it is a very complex set of problems related to physics and chemistry that have to be solved, and it's not easy to calculate.
Yeah.
Great question, though.
Fantastic question. Also, I think this is hilarious. So our good friend, Nike T422, says, Chris talks about cooking like a scientist. He does, doesn't he?
Yes.
And that is why he is Chris Cooking Nashville and comes up with crazy things that we all go,
and that's
what?
the thing. If you understand the science of it, if you understand the physics and the chemistry, and you understand how these things work and what these different ingredients do, and the flavonoids of how things taste and why textures are created the way they are, and what the different compounds are doing related to heat and related to each other and all of this kind of stuff. When you understand that, you can do a lot of amazing things with food, and it makes a question of would such and such thing work? It makes that very easy to say yes or no without having to try.
Yeah.
So, but it's to take you guys down the rabbit hole of where my brain goes would probably bore you to tears, unless you are just passionate about food science the way that I am.
Yeah. Well, I just say he's real smart.
Sometimes
I'll ask a question, and then he goes through the loopholes with me, and he loses me, and then we just go, okay, thanks. Just let it go.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. They also say, if I'm overstaying my welcome, just cook some liver. I would be gone so fast. Yeah, so cool. And people are talking about how they like to do their gizzards and their liver. Some good stuff here, guys.
Love it.
Jackie says, making butter mayo today, preparatory to making ketogenic woman's egg muffins, ice cream, and for CCM potato salad. I made the potato cubes for the 4th, but didn't realize I was out of mayo.
Oh,
that's a bummer.
That's a bummer. Well, at least the potato cubes hold really well.
Yeah. Love it. And Janelle says, LOL, I love food science and food history. I'm a food nerd. And 22 Cat says, I love when Chris talks all sciencey. Never stop.
Thank you, Lynn.
I do too. I always tell him, I'm like, you're so smart. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, you're smart. Get all sciencey.
Okay, Jackie, 90-second bread, got the right way in the mold, still coming out super dense. Okay, so there's a couple of things happening. So if it's coming out dry and dense, it's probably you're either using too much of the whey powder, so it's just making it a little too hard for it to rise as it steams, or it's also possible that you're just overcooking it. Your microwave may be cooking a lot faster than mine. So play around with the ratios, try reducing the powder a little, try upping the amount of butter a little bit, try reducing the cook time, play around with that kind of stuff. And if you still can't get it, something else you can play with is throw in a teaspoon of sour cream to the mixture. Try that if nothing else works. So there's different ways to play with it, and you kind of have to figure out how your microwave and the size of eggs you're using are going to work, how densely you're packing the whey protein when you measure it. That's the other thing. When you measure your protein or any of your powders like that, don't pack it tightly. Scoop it gently and level it off with something without packing it into the spoon. Because if you pack it into a spoon, you can get almost double the amount of a measurement you're supposed to have, because anytime you in cooking, the standard way of doing things is if it is measured, it's a powder, it's flour, it's sugar, it's any of that stuff. Unless it tells you to pack it in the recipe, you're supposed to measure it loosely. Now, I don't think you need to take a spoon and sprinkle it into the measuring spoon. That's how it's actually supposed to be done. You don't really need to do that for this. Just scoop gently so that you're not packing it in and making sure you don't over measure, and then level it off with something like the back of a knife. So.
Good stuff.
But yeah, if you still have trouble with it, shoot me a message.
Yeah. And Amy says, I need to check out your butter mayo. It's carnivore friendly, I'm sure.
Yes. So it has a trace of vinegar and a trace of mustard. The mustard is optional. The vinegar is optional, but it really makes a difference in there. But the mustard does make it easier. But a tiny bit of mustard and a tiny bit of vinegar, and it's just butter and egg.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. And unless you're going to eat the entire thing, you're getting trace amounts of vinegar and trace amounts of mustard. You're not getting a tablespoon of mustard when you eat some mayonnaise on something. Now, if you eat the entire jar and you made a double batch, you'll get a tablespoon of mustard. And a couple of tablespoons of vinegar. So if you're the amount you're using, you're probably getting an eighth of a teaspoon of mustard and vinegar. So that's why I don't worry about it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, we're all caught up, I think, on comments and got to everyone's questions.
Great.
So, yeah, let's see. So we're going live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central with the beautiful Miss Amanda Decker, who is awesome. So, yeah, y'all tune in. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep.
What else are we forgetting anything? Are we good?
I don't think so. We have a very busy filming day today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you guys what all we're doing because I want the surprise to be there for you. It's going to be fun. But we're doing actually 2 videos. We're doing one main video that's coming out Saturday. We're starting another 3 videos, one of which we'll be completing very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically going to be a whole series, and it's going to be really interesting. I think I'm going to take some dairy, some high quality dairy, and I'm going to do some cool stuff with it. And it's going to be, here's a gallon of this high quality dairy, and here's all the things I can do from that 1 gallon of dairy to help you guys really capitalize on a purchase like that. And we'll tell you all about it, and it's going to be great. But a big shout out to our good friends Miller's Bio Farm.
Yeah.
We'll be telling you more about that, but thank you to Marie over at Miller's Bio Farm for asking us to do some work with them, and I think it's going to be really cool. I'm going to show you guys how to make some really great stuff I think you're going to love, and how to capitalize and maximize on a single purchase of something like the dairy that I have. So it's going to be really, really good, and it's going to be fun. So we're going to go get to filming. We have a bunch of stuff to do today.
Yeah.
We're going to get that going. But if not beforehand, we hope to see you guys watching us tomorrow night.
Yes.
For Backstage with Chris. And especially, we've stepped away from doing that on a weekly basis. So these are the kinds of special things that we'd love everyone to show up for. Please share. Please tell everyone it's happening, and just come in the comments and show Amanda some support.
Yes, show some love. She's great if you're not familiar with her. So cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Remember to go take control of that last 6 inches of freedom today, and have your independence from all of that junk and all of the food that's just causing the metabolic issues in your life, and vote for a healthier, happier life. And we will plan to see you guys, if not before then, Tuesday and somewhere on down the road. So thank you guys for being here. We love all of you guys. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. My beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. Guys, eat your meat, love your life. Take on some freedom with your food choices, and we'll catch you guys here in the studio for more motivation and in the kitchen for more recipes. Go join the band if you get a chance. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. We'll see ya.